So this part of the day will be a little bit challenging. At the end of the long day, you'll be sitting and listening. And makes yourself very comfortable, especially today after the travel and all. And from tomorrow onwards in the afternoon, if you're resting and sleeping, with this inside you already planning, in the evening I need to be present fully. Why do we do this talk in the evening? Why not in the morning or when we are fresh? The whole idea is to take this, what Rudolf Steiner has given to us, as images and pictures, and take it into nightlife. And these things will start guiding you in a different way tomorrow whole day's work. So these pictures will start building and then piling one on the top of the other, till such time your whole inner self has already certain knowing and images, but not knowing as intellectual fact. Is that giving a picture to you? So also at the end of this talk, make sure that you are leaving the room in a way that you're not sick. It's not too much, you can't digest it. It's overwhelming sometimes to listen to certain things which we have got used to see in a particular way. Now we are asked to change our perspective. So if you're walking on our feet, suddenly somebody comes and asks you to walk on your head. That's how you experience it. And there's nothing that you hear in the evenings which is not going to be repeated. It's always repeated. The best thing about anthroposophy is the same thing, the same story is said in many different ways, different languages, through the day, through the night. And even when you're not listening to us, even when you go away from us, you're listening to that inside you. Because it is whatever resonates with you, whatever is your truth, which you can access through yourself, through your bodily experience, through your world experience, through your feelings, through your thoughts, will remain with you. And that grows. And that becomes authentically your own truth. So whatever Rudolf Steiner has given to us, there is nothing in what he has told us which actually does not belong to us. Is that making sense? Yeah. But there are times you can relate to some things. There are times the intellect stops it. There are times a part of you is not ready to receive it. There are times it is all around you, but you can't really drink it. But that's okay, the time will come. So there is no comparison with others. Oh my God, she knows that much and I don't know this much. So take it as food. Take it as digestible food. Take it in a way that it is not indigestible. And even if it goes, a lot goes inside you. There is night between 2 days, which is beautiful. So in the night, it's almost like a lot of it is filtered. And whatever is remaining next morning remains. And some of you actually, you leave this first module era and go home. After a week, everything is gone. All leaked out. It's a waste. Okay, all the money we have spent on it, all the time and energy, all gone. But it will come back. So almost like a sieve. Okay. This whole exercise of can I meet this truth as a knowing and not hold on to it? And can I send it to somewhere in me where I'm not even aware that it is there? So we eat food and we digest it and we break it down, and I make a liver protein with it or a muscle protein with it, or I make a cell in my brain in it. And some of them I made when I was 3-year-old with my first breakfast at that time, and I'm still using it, but I'm not even aware of it. And some I just excrete, because I trust that life brings it back to me if I need it. So in you, you have a lot already inside you. What happened when you were 3? What was your first memory around when you were 3-year-old? A part of it is still your essence now. So we will do that exercise through this week. What was my first memory? You keep going back. When I was in class 5, this is what happened. And when I was in class 3, this is what happened. And when I started my school, this is what happened. And before that, I have a vague memory of a blue curtain or something like that. Whenever I see that blue curtain, the smell of this sweet comes to me, or face of that person comes to me. Very vague, not very nice intellectual thing. Or a story which was told about you when you were a little child. Again and again and again comes back to you. So it could be in any form. It could be an image, it could be a memory, it could be a sensory memory, it could be a sensory memory, but which was told as a big story by the family repeatedly. But whole story came from the family, but a part of that sensory memory belongs to you. So we are going back and back and back and back in our memory lane, and we come to a point and you say, oh my God, before that what happened? I don't know. But did I exist? Yes. Yeah. Did anybody tell me about myself before that time? Yes. But it's only memory of what I was being told, not what I own as I do remember it, as a vague, faint, sensory memory of me experiencing something. Is that exercise clear to you? So you can start writing your own story about your memories, and you can tell your friend tonight after dinner when you sit together. But let's start doing this exercise. That is the period which we are going to study in this module. Before I had this experience, which I remember even now, the period before, and I'm taking it roughly 3. You can take it, sometimes the memory was 5, sometimes the memory was 2.5. For some of you, something big happened when you were 10 months old and the story was told so many times, then you think it is actually you who remember it. So all kinds of mixing will be there. So don't go pedantically into that, and it has to be right. Okay. So just experiment, play with it. Just start playing with it. And that's the period we are going to study. So I call it, just for the convenience sake, first 3 years of life. So today I just want to share with you why. We didn't say this to our first batch why we were doing it. We just told them this is what we're doing. Okay? And you heard them, okay, today, how it was given. She asked me to come, so I came. So this is the story, because some disciples, when Christ gave wine, said, this is your wine, your cup, you're giving it, you're asking me to drink, so I'm drinking it. Some disciples said, it's my cup, but you're giving your wine in my cup and you're asking me to drink it, so I'm drinking it. Some disciples said, it's my cup and you're pouring my wine in my cup and I am drinking it. So some of you are already there. Then I want to know what it is, and then I choose whether it has to come or not. So today we're going to listen, why do we do these 3 years? But your previous batches heard that, why do we have to do these 3 years? Many, many modules later. But you already came with that, I need to know about it so that I can enter it. So it's a different consciousness. So whole evening we are going to spend many different ways of why first 3 years. So at the time we are born into this physical earthly world, we choose to be born in a very vulnerable, powerless state. So powerless, so vulnerable, that we don't even have this possibility to hold our neck, and which is necessary for me to survive, to live on earth without having a risk to choke or to collapse, my airway to be collapsed. I almost need someone constantly to be responsible for my head to be upright, my neck to be straight. So those of you who just were busy taking care of your little babies, you still remember the moments. Finally, when your baby can hold its own head and can hold the neck without any help, no thank you mama, I can do it. So you can now take off your hand. Okay. So I can now sleep without getting up in the middle of the night and being paranoid on my mom who is taking care of my baby when I'm sleeping. How many of you went through those paranoid moments? And then I know my mom, I can trust her, but with my life, but not with my baby's life. Did any of you go through this? Okay, she's lovely, and then I trust her anytime, my life in her hand, but not my baby's life. Yeah, that's very different. That story is totally different, because this baby came and chose me to do that job. Yeah. And my mom is very good. She has good intentions. She will never hurt my feelings. She knows how important it is, but still she can't get it. Yeah. So it's not an intellectual thing. It's something is part of your life. And it's an agreement which you made before. Yeah. And you can only recognize it as part of your life stream inside you. You cannot explain it. You can't hand over. You can't outsource it. Yeah. You can't just go and then give it away to someone. But some people can hold that and then be present in the world. That's okay. Some can't. Some has to control the whole world and be paranoid and go through psychosis and then can do it. Okay. So everything is all right. But it is a fact that every human being comes here with this total vulnerability and deep trust that I chose you, I know that you can do your job. Yeah. And you will do it. So I put my life into your hands. So this is a choice. And if you look around and watch animals, birds, and there is no being which comes into earthly incarnation, earthly existence, with the amount of powerlessness which is exhibited in human birth, and with the trust that we exhibit. So that's a question I want you to wonder at. What a choice we make. And how do we choose this kind of vulnerability? And what does it bring between this one who is caring for and the one who is being cared for? What lives in that space when this powerlessness comes and trust comes? And what is it that comes out of a mother? Her whole beingness to meet this. So in your own life, you can go back and ask, where else in my life, if I'm not yet a mother, yeah, and if I'm not a mother, if I'm a father, or if I'm not relating to this situation, but I want to experience it, or even those of you who experience this, ask yourself, did I have any other life experience where I felt it? Someone in front of me totally doing this, and I'm totally helpless and powerless, and I'm in your hands. And you have to rise up to that situation, and you have to understand and be sensitive. How do I care for it without taking away freedom? Without making sure that I am not encroaching onto the other's freedom. And how can I respect this freedom and caring for that vulnerable situation? Only till such time the baby says, no, thank you. So we're always sensing how long, how much, how exactly do I do it? Is this the right way to do it? Is that the right way to do it? And even if you have 10 babies, even if you have 100 babies, the 101st baby or 11th baby or the second baby or the first baby, you still have to ask them. Because it is an individual who is caring for this baby and the individual who is being cared for. Starting from that, I want you to now come to a 3-year-old. Now who is standing, and how many of you teach 3-year-olds in your workplace? Yeah. So all the rest can go and sit with them and have a little interview. Yeah, in your break time. How do they come? What is your experience? Can you describe them to us a little bit? So 2.5, 3-year-olds are walking into your room, into your program, whatever you're calling it, already very clear. This is who I am, and I am here, and they claim the space, and they claim the attention, they claim your time. Do you experience it like that? So all of them are already here. This vulnerable state to that state where I can manage my limbs, okay, and I can walk on this earth, and I can sense this earth, I can sense the space around, and I am here now, and my hands are free, and I can communicate with my whole body, sometimes with making a sound. And by 3, some of them even can manage the whole family. Yeah. So if you see anywhere in the marketplace a father and a little girl, you know who is the boss. Yeah. And then for many families, we know who is the boss now. Okay. So we don't look at the parents and ask, would you like to spend another hour with us today evening? No, we ask the child, would you like to stay with me for 1 more hour? And then, so if the little one says yes, and the parents just have to follow it. And that's what we are. There is a knowing, but not knowing. If we don't describe that knowing exactly, then there is a risk that we are seeing the phenomenon which we are seeing today. Too much choice in the wrong places. Too much burdening which comes out of too much choice. Yeah. And children being dragged into the spaces where they don't belong to. Children being asked, or we keep expectations on these children for which their physiological maturation is not yet ready to enter. It's like asking a newborn baby now to crawl, or to ask even a 6-month-old baby to give a walker and then say, now you can walk because I'm supporting all your muscles with the walker. We did it. We did it a few years ago. We gave walkers to the babies at 6 months because we didn't want to wait till 9-10 months. We didn't want to wait and waste time on crawling, which we will never use again in life. That was our materialistic thinking. Okay, I use all other faculties, but I never have to crawl again. So why waste time in crawling? So we gave the walkers to the babies. We had huge problems with children who did not crawl later. All kinds of problems, social, emotional, learning difficulties. And these are the children who went to learning support later. So then we went back and we said, no, that doesn't work. There are certain milestones, certain developmental situations which we study, which we might not understand with our materialistic perspective. So now there's a lot of study which is available. What happens when a child is crawling, and especially when the crawling child pulls himself or herself up into the upright posture. So we study that very deeply now. So I cannot ask a 6-month-old to stand upright and experience the free hands. Only a baby who was vulnerable in the birth time could hold the neck by 4 months and could hold upper chest, lower chest, go on all fours and start crawling. And comes a point where they want to pull themselves up, and they pull themselves up, and finally hands are free. Yeah, I'm here. And then this whole journey is important. Again, no other living creature takes whole year to become freely mobile, independent mobility. Okay, only human child takes that long. We need to ask why. Why do we give away all our power, which we could have easily received in our creation story? We could have easily asked for it because we asked for a lot of other things which are brilliant. But we did not ask for this cleverness and intelligence which birds have, which animals have. Yeah. They go on all their fours and run away within few hours, some animals. Some take few days, some take few weeks, but they're all gone and the nest is taken off. Yeah. They make another nest for the next babies to come. But we never take away the nest. We have, as human beings, eternal childhood. Something of me I keep inside me as a childlike, not childish, childlike. So this is the mystery we are going to study. What is it? Why do I do it? What do I get out of it? Why do I have to keep that? There's something in me as a childlike, and you can continue to study this. And when you study the skeletal system, when you study skull, and if you study baby, human baby and baby monkey, they both look same when you take skeletal studies of the human head and the baby monkey head. And a little later, the monkey skull changes as it grows. It starts growing forward, the lower part of the face. Human skull remains the same. So animals are progressing something in their development, but we refrain it. We almost hold it back. So just ask, why do I hold a physical development? And when I hold a physical development, what do I get? What do I have in me? If I don't go into one step in the physical world, what do I have in me? What is it that I can keep? Because if 1-year-old child is walking, 2-year-old child is walking and speaking, I'm also walking and speaking. You're also walking and speaking. Is there a difference? There is a difference, isn't it? I'm still learning to walk and speak. And there are times I go to my counselor and I say, oh, I'm 55 now, I'm a little bit lost and I don't know whether to go this way or that way. Maybe I need to do a retreat. Maybe I need to go and meet a spiritual master. I still don't know what to do with my feet, whether to go here or there. I don't know whether I can do that job well and this job well, and I'm good that also, I'm good in this also. But I don't know whether to do this or that or this or that. Do you all have questions which come like this? So all my life I'm learning to walk. I'm asking this question. I'm all through my life, in one or other way, I'm developing. The same thing I did in the first year to walk, I'm doing it more or less all my life. At 60, I get clients in my clinic and saying, one part of my life is over, and then we just celebrated my 60th, and then now I'm asking myself, where to from here? Do I trace back all my steps and then walk differently? The same thing. So these questions come again and again and again. And at 2 I was speaking, at 3 I was speaking, at 5 I was very intelligent. A lot of people said I was intelligent. I also felt I was very intelligent. Now I speak and then go home and then look at it and say, why did I say that? I could have said that differently. Okay, that's not very nice of me that I say this to this person at the tea time. I could have said that in a different way. Can I say the same thing tomorrow differently? Can I use a different tone? Can I use different word? Can I use different structure? But I didn't even want to share that with her. Why did I share that? Okay, that was not very nice of me, not very kind of me, not very considerate of me to say those things to that person. So I'm constantly going through this. I could become more human in my speech. Every time I speak, I pause and then I think, and can I speak differently? So I walk and my hands are free, I speak, and then the more I walk, the more I speak, the more I walk differently, and the more I speak differently, and the more I experience myself as a thinking being differently. Because what I think and what I speak and what I speak out of that, what I think, how I'm experiencing myself is constantly different. I do it in the second year, third year. I do it again when I come to school. Okay, class 1, class 2, I do that again. I go to my best friend. I say, I don't want you to come to my birthday party. If you come, I'm not going to cut the cake. I actually hate you. I don't want you to come for my birthday party. And then she starts crying. Oh my God, what did I do to her? So what was it that was happening to her when I said that? I don't understand it. But I go sleep and next morning I come and bring something for her. You can have it for 10 minutes, you can hold it. So I'll come back and collect it again. So I'm constantly watching it at a different level. And then at 16, I do the same thing. At 24, I do the same thing. A little later in 30s, I do the same thing. At 60, people come and say, I said this to my son. He was actually coming back and he was very nice to me, and then he came to visit me. He wanted to ask how I'm doing. But then I don't know what took over me, and then I just told him off, and then I said he's not growing up and whatever he's doing with his family is not good, and I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, I wish I can say differently. I just want to say that I love you, my son. But somehow it doesn't come. Yeah. Is that making sense? Yeah. Did you hear anyone choking on their own breath when they have to say, I love you? Yeah. Why don't you just stand up and say, I love you, and give a flower, and then off you go? Yeah. Now it's difficult for me to say. I have to say it many times, and I have to think about it many times. That's not the way to say it, and then I have to find. So this walking, speaking, thinking is happening all through our life. So we are born, our physical bodies are born at birth, and some other body is born a little later, some other member is born a little later, and all my members are born a little later, and then a part of my soul is born 7 years later, and another part of my soul is born. And constantly, then my spirit being is born a few years later. So I'm always becoming. Yeah. There was a design matrix which I created before I came here. This is what I wanted to come and become. But I'm constantly becoming that. Yeah. Does that make sense? Imagine that you have a bank account there, and you come down using a little bit of it, and then every time you watch and you realize, you become conscious that you could become a little bit more than that, then you draw from that bank account. Yeah, Rudolf Steiner calls it unbornness. It's a very beautiful word, unbornness. A big part of me is not yet born. A big part of me is still unborn. Yeah. So we become aware of it. Maybe when you face a crisis in your life, when you meet something in your life which you feel, oh, any other thing I would have faced and managed it, but not this. This is not fair at all for me to be tested like this. I'm not prepared for this. And then something comes, and then you meet it, and you look around. And then sometimes you say, it's that person, it's my teacher, it's my mentor, it's Dr. Lakshmi, it's that person, it's this person. No, it's me. Yeah. It is me and me and me with my unbornness, my unborn part of me. But I want to give away my gold to all of you. Because to carry my gold on the top of my head is very scary. Yeah. Very scary. Am I that big really if I put all my unborn part of me? So I bring myself a little bit by little bit by little bit. But there's so much unborn part of me. The more ready you are to bring, the more you can bring. This unbornness, this access through our reflective life, through our thinking life, free, independent thinking life, the access to the higher beings, there's access to the spiritual worlds, access to the hierarchies through our thought is very unique to human. So I can always go back and say, come on, okay, give my share again. That was not enough for the world. So tonight I go and then I say, I used up everything I have. All my wisdom, knowledge, my sensing, my love, my compassion, my willingness, my real will to work and then give them a good lecture. But I think something more can come. Yeah. Something of me must be there. Okay. I go back tonight and I ask for more share. What happened to my inheritance? Okay. I didn't take everything when I left. So can I have a little bit more? And tomorrow I can bring a little bit more. That also belongs to me. If it doesn't belong to me, I cannot bring it. So a big part of me is unborn. I'm constantly coming into birth, constantly refraining myself Or in some other lectures, he says excreting animal. If I have grown some wings, some horns, some big teeth to bite others or to eat up others, then I have to excrete those animal forms from me. So I can constantly excrete animal forms, or I can refrain myself from becoming animals, and in that I can take a path, a journey to always be in becoming. It is not human being, but it is becoming human. So both Rudolf Steiner and Karl Koenig both describe this beautifully. In this becoming is what we come together constantly. In this whole training, in this whole education, we are aware that each one of us is still becoming. And I am becoming, and you are becoming, and we witness each other, we accompany each other. And sometimes we wake up the other friend and then we say, maybe you can take one more step towards this. Yeah. And out of love, I constantly mirror and say, do you think you could have said the same thing in a different way? Do you think you had a choice to respond to what I brought to you in a different way? As teachers, your children are always doing that. In the classroom, they look up at you at the end of the class. Is that all? Yeah. And if you say that's all, oh, okay. We thought you could bring a little bit more. Yeah. There's always hope in those beautiful eyes. Maybe tomorrow she'll come differently. So kindergarten children watch carefully kindergarten teachers. They not only talk about their clothes, but they also understand. This one is coming every day differently. And they're not only commenting on, so did you have your teacher today in the kindergarten? Yes. She's looking so beautiful. I told her I'm going to marry her. She came in pink. Yeah. So these little boys are watching, and then they not only see you from green to pink dress, but they also see you something different in you. And that's the day they're marrying you. Yeah. They come and say, so like this kindergarten teacher told me once, my husband never looked into my eyes with so much love. But this boy comes and watches every new dress I wear. I asked, why? What is it? I think if my husband asks me to change, I don't want to change. But for my children, I'm always changing. Yeah? And I think they know that I'm changing. Yeah? Maybe my husband will say that that dress looks very nice on you if I change something for him. But something in me says, why should I change for him? Why do I have to cook differently? He just has to get used to whatever I'm cooking. Yeah? He's also an adult. He has to grow up and then learn how to eat whatever I'm cooking. Yeah? So this is the discussion we had. What about making an experiment on him and change something in you and see whether they notice what you have on you? Yes. Yeah. So it is the costume, or it is external we are commenting, but we are also recognizing that there's something in that person went up and brought something new. So this, I call it, it's almost like a resilience. Resilience. You can have physical resilience like immunity. You can have emotional resilience. Last week, I just could not handle this lady. 2 sentences out of her mouth, I needed to get up and go away. But now I can handle 10 sentences. That's emotional resilience for me. I can manage her for 10 sentences. Yeah. But there's also spiritual resilience. I can bring a different being in me to meet what comes towards me in life, including our children in the classroom. They are coming out of life, choosing us, searching for us, with a longing to meet us in everyday life. Every day they come with the same light-heartedness and then joy on their faces and hopping and skipping with a hope that they will meet something new. And they come. Yes, seasons table is the same and the same teacher is there and the same curtains and the same floor and same rhythm. Wonderful. Okay, this is all good and everything is same. Okay, but everything is same, but something is a little shift. That's you. Yeah. That is all they want to see. Everything is same, wonderful in kindergarten, but something which is same is not same. Yeah, the one who holds it, the one who does it is different. Okay. Can I have the same thing and something which is always changing? This is human being. Yeah. I have this eternal, immortal, the being of me who accompanies me through many incarnations, whom I bring from incarnation to incarnation to incarnation, and who also spends a lot of time between death and birth in the spiritual world. And it forgets and remembers. And I have this brand new genetic hereditary material which I'm going to just use for this incarnation. Something in me is going to change. Yeah. But both are changing at a different plane, at different times. Yeah. When one remains same, the other changes. Yeah. And when this remains same, this one can change. So one holds this stability so that the other can spiral around. There are times human archetype, physical archetype remains the same. I'm going to make 2 eyes and 1 nose with 2 nostrils and 2 ears in the same place, in the same proportion, the face and the neck and the trunk and the limbs and the spine and the organs, general archetype. As long as I can hold general archetype, then I can play with how my nose should look, how my eyes should look, and what kind of vision I'm going to put into my eyes, what kind of patterns I need to have into my limbs and into my hands, and what faculties do I bring into my limbs, which are very different from my siblings, which are very different from my great-grandfathers and my aunts and my parents, my genetic hereditary material. So one stays same, the other keeps changing. And when the spirit, the eternal part of me, immortal part of me, stays very clearly there, and this is what I came to do in this life, this is my journey, and previous incarnation is going to be related to my next incarnation through this incarnation, if I go this way. Okay. Just at that moment, there are many other side businesses I will be doing all my life. Every now and then, I think I came to do something else, but I forgot. Do you have any idea about it? Yeah. And we go ask everyone. Yeah. We ask everyone, and we try to find out in every possible way. We get a glimpse of it, we get a feeling to it, we get a vague sense of it, and then we say, yes, I think I'm going there. Oh, then it's gone. Okay. So because I go there and I go here and I go there and I go. So it's one thing remains same as a vague feeling which pulls me back. But this way of living consciously belongs to the last few thousand years. Okay. So I come here and I know I have to establish this and then go. But this is not what happens to many of us. In today's life, how many people do you meet who are constantly searching and asking, who am I, who am I, who am I, who am I? Okay, if you Google search and if you go into this new way of marketing, you come to us, we tell you who you are. Yeah. In many ways, either through food, our spiritual gurus, our teachers, our psychoanalysis, our blood group types, and then everybody has some advice for everyone. Okay. No one tells you, actually, I don't know you. Yeah. So maybe I can hold a space where you can come and then try and then do some backflips and somersaults and then become an animal or a little snail or a leaf or a flower. I just sit and watch you till you become who you are, and you say, can I go home? I just found out, and you come back again, sorry, I forgot, and then can I do it again? And that's all we do here. Yeah, we just hold a space and watch you, okay, turning caterpillar to butterfly, and then come back and say that butterfly died, and then I'm a new caterpillar again. Okay, fine, no problem. Okay, now I'm not even a caterpillar, I just became a leaf. Is it okay? Fine, no problem. Okay, so one caterpillar will come and eat you up. Okay, and then you grow in that caterpillar's stomach. All kinds of this, because when I come, I bring a little bit of me here and I put a big part of me in the periphery. So I have to find a part of me in you, part of me in you, part of me in you, part of me in Australia, part of me in America, part of me on the East Coast, part of me in the West Coast, part of me in the flight, part of me in the airports. Because when I come here, I put myself everywhere. So a part of me is here in the center, a big part of me is in the periphery, in the world outside. So the more I take the world outside into me, where that part of me which is me is sitting inside and meeting the world from outside and transforming it with a little dialogue between my center and periphery all the time. Transform this, a bit of me comes into me and then I excrete rest of it. Off you go. Okay, and I come back. I'm doing it all the time. So while we are doing Eat a course, we do 3 main meals and 2 snacks, morning snack and evening snack. All are equally tempting, so you can't cancel anything, even though you know that you don't need it, but we still eat. So 5 times a day minimum, the world from outside comes into you as substance. And then you have to work harder and digest it and then excrete it and then say that doesn't belong to me and this belongs to me. And then I'm breathing in and breathing out. All my senses are taking all kinds of sensory experiences and integrating them and then have a little rest in sleep and then get up again and then do it. And some of us, even in sleep, we somehow have WhatsApp connections and then, so we have all kinds of connections. And last few weeks, wherever I was, because there was a time I'm functioning in Australia, there was a time I'm functioning from Australia to India, there was a time I was functioning from Australia to America. Okay, there was a time I'm functioning from Australia to the spiritual world, so but I'm functioning to everywhere. Okay. Between time and space, 24 hours you are connected through some kind of sensory experience. Unless you mastered a state where even though you are in sensory world, you are fully in, okay, tune with what is happening outside and inside. So world outside and world inside. Center and periphery. So this is something which will come to you through many evenings. A part of it comes in the next few evenings and then many more evenings. All the time, these are the basics which you are going to face. Okay, so did I come here just to meditate on myself and find myself? Did I come here to lose in the world and then come back to myself? And did I come here to lose myself and find myself again? So right there is our human heart. So we study a lot about our human organs and physiology. Heart as the center. So on one hand, you want to study about children and child development. On the other hand, you want to study about macrocosm and microcosm. And also you're studying the human physiology and child development together. So you don't have to worry, they all come together intermingled. So much later, 6 modules later, you will separate them. This belongs to physiology, this belongs to psychology, this belongs to my work, this belongs to me. Yeah. Did I come here into this earthly world just to find myself meditating on myself? Or did I come here to find myself by losing myself in the world? Or do I bring both together? Some of you very beautifully said, I am lost. If I'm lost and if I don't know that I am lost, that's a little bit worry. If I'm lost and I know I am lost, no worry. Yeah, because I'll find home. We are all lost. in different areas. But as long as you know that you're lost, you will find your home. But only you can find your home, no one else. So whatever we are studying, sometimes I'm speaking from here. Sometimes I'm speaking from here. Sometimes I'm speaking from the world point of view. Sometimes I'm not even talking about you and me, I'm talking about children. Sometimes we hear a story about Rudolf Steiner. Oh, okay. Sometimes we listen about our ancestors. Sometimes we talk about Earth's evolution, as though this is not enough. Because whatever I have in my evolution, my story, is part of Earth's evolution. If I don't understand that, then I don't get the whole story. So this is like a little bit like when we do Ramayana. Okay, are we talking about Rama and Sita? If you know we are talking about Rama and Sita, that's enough. Yeah. So is that Ramayana? No, sometimes Hanuman is the hero, sometimes Lakshmana is the hero. Sometimes somebody else, totally Ravana, is the hero. And then the more you know, the more confused you are. At the end of it, did I get it right? Rama and Sita are husband and wife. Is that right? Yes, that's enough. Okay, all right. Okay. It is all about children and me and then anthroposophy and Rudolf Steiner. Yes. Okay, I'm sleeping now. Good night. Yeah. So as long as you don't lose that one line of Ramayana, that's okay. Okay, so we have many side stories. Do you remember all the stories? Yeah, when Rama goes into the forest first time and second time and then final time and this one-eyed monster, and then does any of you remember the original Ramayana? So you get into these little stories, side lanes, and then somewhere, and then you actually forget because the description is so vivid. And as a little child, all that you remember is if you go into the forest, there will be one-eyed monster. Okay, that's all. And anybody asked about Ramayana, that's all I said for many years. Okay, is that all? Yes, that's all, because that's all I could take at that time. So at the end of module 1, you will talk about first 3 years of development, little bit of embryology and life between death and birth. Okay, like whatever little story you know about it, you say that. At the end of second module, this story becomes a little bit more wide, but it's the same story we're going to talk about. Because it's the same thing that is going to happen at any stage in my life. Either I am becoming human, either in my limb man, walking, or in my communicating man, soul life, speech, or in my relationship with the hierarchies, in my thinking man. So this threefoldedness is all that you're going to study again and again and again. And we study this in ERA training. Not just go and study first 3 years of life, but we study in threefoldedness. So there was a time, there was death. Yeah. Only then I could come back as Lakshmi. Before I could come back as Lakshmi, I had a journey between my death from the previous incarnation to the birth in this incarnation. Yeah. Is that clear? Death and birth. And this last part of physical birth is very special, and we can access it if we work harder and harder with our meditative life. That is the time when all the moon beings were watching over my development inside my mother's womb for 10 lunar months, 280 days. So each lunar month, 28 days, 10 lunar months when I was developing from the time of conception to the physical birth. The whole embryological development is something which continues to repeat and we continue to access in our present earthly life. So that is something which we study. So we study between death and birth, we study embryological development, and we study first 3 years of life. Can I say that is 3? That is one part, that is second part, and this is third. We study our first 3 years in threefoldedness again. We study this limb man this chest man communicating, speaking, and this thinking man, again in 3 ways, as a habit. Yeah. We are exercising how to live in this three-foldedness constantly. So we go many times to and fro, to and fro, to and fro, to and fro. If you try to capture it intellectually, it's a little psychotic. You go through that and then come out of the psychosis and listen to it as a story. Yeah. If you want to draw, you can draw. If you want to paint, you can paint. If you want to lie down and listen, and then you can lie down and listen, copy the notes later, no problem. Or you can take all the notes sitting here straight and then go and dramatize it with your friends. After 6, you're free after dinner. So you can come into small groups and start working. From tomorrow, you will even carry little homework after dinner, whatever is possible for you, little homeworks. One of the things we do is we digest the evening talk in a way that it is suitable to you, in a little group. And those of you who already know a little bit about it can tell the others in your own language, in your own understanding. You can draw it, you can move it, you can paint it, you can put color codes and bring pictures, summarize it, but digest it. These are all digestible pictures. At the end of it, if everything flies away, it's still good. Not a problem, yeah? So that's a very brief introduction to what we are entering. Like typically when you do the text study with your facilitator, there comes a point when your facilitator feels you're all very comfortable with the text study, and she might give a little paragraph to take home and then study it as a group and discuss and bring back. She'll give clear instruction. And then, of course, today evening we don't have any homework other than just digesting this, and also most important is to really have good rest, because tomorrow you already know from 8 to 6 you're working, and that way of working is not intellectual, but you are making a commitment to be available, and that could be strenuous for some of you. Yeah. So these are the 2 areas I can see homework happening. The present day's consciousness in thinking started in the Greek culture. This way of independent thinking without God's help. Yeah. So the pictures of Greece, if you see and they were standing in the middle of the town in front of the town hall. Socrates and Plato were having dialogues, and all people come and listen to them so that they can also learn how to think for the first time. Yeah. So this dialogue is very important in human evolution of thinking. Yeah. And here we have all our friends free. Yeah, so choose a little group and friends, and then to really bring these questions, these discussions, these dialogues will be very nice. And that's where you all come together. It's not to prove who's right, who's wrong, but it is really because the more you speak, the more you think. So give yourself time and freedom, and of course you need somebody to speak to. So you need to form a little group and take permission from them. Can you manage if I speak? Yeah, because it's quite a lot to digest if somebody speaks, and then all that is coming unto you. And it's very kind. All the audience are always kind to the speaker. It's a free gift, audience gift to the speaker by being available. Listening is really a great skill. To be able to listen with whole of you, with interest, is what actually brings the speech out of the speaker. So find someone who wants to serve you, and then have dialogue. Sometimes we have an argument socially, and then I think you tell that it's because of me this whole thing started. And I go home feeling very bad about it. And then I work on it, and then I have a little inner dialogue with me, and then I wake up to this experience. That part of the mischief I caused in this whole ugly incident, but the other part doesn't belong to me. I don't have to bring it and throw it on your face. But even by saying that that is not me, brings a lot of inner peace. Do you ever do this with the arguments?
You mean the part that was in disharmony? that I say it's not part of me.
Oh, the whole thing is disharmony. Yeah. So you can say you are a bully, Lakshmi. I go home, yeah, I heard it many times in my life. I am a bully. Yeah. So where was it that I was bullying her? Why did I not bully the other person, only her? Okay, a part of her is also inviting me to bully her. Yeah. So I'm not saying that I'm innocent. I'm saying there is a little bully in me, but it comes up only when she comes and only when no one is around. Yeah. If any person comes in, I behave very differently to her. Okay. So there's a little bit more understanding about me. I am a bully, but I'm not a bully like that. I'm a bully in certain situations in response to something. There's always the other and me in whatever is being caused. Okay. I don't have to go and then tell her, you actually have a victim in you and you're bringing a bully out of me. I don't have to do that. That's what modern psychotherapy does. All that I need to do is, I need to be a little bit more careful. Even when she provokes me to bully her, can I just hold it? Because she's my best friend and I don't want to lose her. I really don't want to lose her friendship. So I can work harder and harder if I meet only my part of it and take responsibility for it. Yeah. So in anthroposophic psychology, we put it in a different way. This again you will hear many times from me, but just meditate on this statement which Rudolf Steiner brings. Whole anthroposophic psychotherapy works on this principle. I'm simplifying it, oversimplifying it. If there's something between me and the other person, and if I pick up what belongs to me, it's very good. But if I pick up what does not belong to me, and I'm picking up what belongs to the other person, that is mental illness. Because this I cannot digest and integrate. Because it was not in my plan which I brought. So that comes inside and then they both look at each other and say, what are you doing here? You're not in my plan. Okay, this doesn't belong to me. Okay. Because I do remember my pre-birth life, I call it midnight hour. When I chose to come here, I remember that in sleep. I go back and I remember it, and it does, from there it feels not part of me. Yeah, somebody is pushing it onto me. It's not part of me. I can feel it. Yeah. And there are times what belongs to me, I don't pick up. That is also mental illness. Yeah. And our children really show us in the classroom. Okay. If we constantly blame them for what is not their problem, okay, the problem becomes bigger and bigger and bigger till the teacher stops and says, oh, maybe I could have done this differently. You pick up what belongs to you, and next morning all the problems are solved. You don't have to go to them and then give a lecture and say, suddenly I got enlightened, thank you very much, and I realized it, and then, yeah. So this happens in the everyday reflective life in sleep. This is an internal process. Sometimes in ERA modules we exaggerate it and we bring it out. Yeah. Like how cow does. Yeah. Cow takes out the food and then again ruminates because we are studying the processes. So sometimes it feels like, oh my God, I have to look at her vomiting and then I have to look at this and I have to handle this and I have to. But before that we already build a community where there's a lot of love. So it doesn't feel so bad. Okay. So is that giving a picture to you, example for you? I brought a complex sentence to answer a simple question, but I don't want to make it too simple. Yeah. So just keep meditating on his statement. What does that mean? Yeah. How do I do it? Okay. What all organs I have in my body, what all soul exercises I can do to do that process. Whole life I do that, because just when I think, okay, now I know who I am and I got rid of the whole world, okay, next morning whole world comes into me again. When I wake up, start it again. Yeah. And then, okay, at the end of the day I do my good review and then I take off everything that doesn't belong to me, close all the doors and then purify myself and light feel this is just me. Okay. And then the world comes in. The world really comes in because I belong to the world. a big part of me is open and a big part of me is closed at the same time. So over the next 3 modules, we learn to live in this duality. I'm open and closed. I'm the center, I'm also in the periphery. Yeah. I have a business with you, but I actually don't want to have any business with you. Exactly like our children. Exactly like them, we also go through this, but we do it in a different space compared to them. Does that give a little bit more peace to sleep with? Yeah.
I just have one question. Supposing we are not staying here, we go back home.
Yeah.
Is introspection good enough?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
If we don't have
And if you have any friend to call, you can take permission. After my dinner, when I put everyone to sleep, can I call you for 10 minutes? Yeah. And then, yeah, some people who go home, sometimes they spend a night here in the middle of the peak stressful homework time. Okay, they stay here. And then sometimes their families come here and stay. Okay, all kinds of things happen. We'll see how organically in life what you do. But you can always call a friend. Yeah. And some of you are very happy just to talk to yourself. But those of you who are going home, make sure that you have little time and space where 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you say goodnight to everyone in the family respectfully, and then go and do your little notes and little review. You can come in the morning 10 minutes early and sit with a friend. A lot of friendships.
So you do encourage talking necessarily?
I will say it's inevitable. Yeah, because you already talked so much in the introduction. So I'm imagining that you all will talk non-stop. And the whole day we're not letting you speak. So where will all that go? So we are saying movement time you can't speak, nature study you can't speak, text study you have to text. You have to study Rudolf Steiner and then digest him. Evening you have to listen to me, and whole afternoon you're busy working. So every break time I imagine you running out and talking to each other, and then night talking to each other. So writing down, okay, some of you write, that's beautiful, 2 colors. Sometimes you write, okay, what you are listening, and sometimes you also write what you are telling yourself when you are listening to me. Okay. So you can write on both sides, different colors. This is what I heard she said to me, but this is what actually I am saying about this topic. Yeah. Some of you write with two colors, which is great. Yeah. And you can write multiple voices, multiple dialogues. This is good. This is really good. Because a part of me is here. But another part is there. That I can only meet in the sense-filled world. I do meet something in my sleep life, but only if I have a lot of meetings in the sense-filled world, and then I go in my sleep to tell them everything that happened here, all the stories, like a little child who comes back in kindergarten. So much happened in 10 minutes in the garden. Yeah? So that's what spiritual worlds are waiting for every night. The moment you sleep, you have so much to tell them. And I met this person and I met that person, and that's very wonderful and this very wonderful. Wait a minute, I have a question for you. And then, okay, what do you mean by this? And then what does she mean? And am I supposed to be here at all in Ida? All questions are there. Okay, that will be answered there. But that is not open unless you have the news of the world. Does that give a picture to you? Yeah. These are your friends who are going to open the doors to the spiritual world in a conscious way. So hang on to each other really for life, because this is destiny group. Just like your class children who come together, choose a teacher. No child in World of School is interested in teacher. They come for their friends. Yeah. They care for each other. They grow together. There's a unit in them. Teacher is there. They love teacher. They respect teacher. But this is part of them. This class, this peer group is part of them. How do you study any process? You have to bring it out and bring it to your consciousness. Like you study your breath, which is supposed to be unconscious. Those of you who do yoga, you're bringing the breath into conscious field, which is a dreamy one. You bring it to your consciousness and you study about yourself. So the whole understanding of what is human nature comes when you exaggerate and bring it as pictures and bring it to your consciousness. So that is the hard work. What do you remember as your first memory? It doesn't come easy. Sometimes you might have to talk about last year and when you were 10-year-old, maybe when you're 7. Talk to your friend or start writing, whatever is comfortable to you. And sometimes you listen to your friend's stories, suddenly yours comes, and you don't want to listen to your friend any longer because your story came. And I want to tell, I also got it, I also got a story. So it's really becoming a child. Open doors for each other. One opens the heart, it opens many hearts. So have lots and lots of dialogue time. That's the reason why we close by 6. We close by 6 and we request you to have residential program so that you all can do group work in the evening. All right?
So your dates could be off. That's okay, because what if I'm thinking I'm 3 but maybe I was 5?
Yeah.
That's
Start
okay.
with that.
Whatever your perception.
Start with that. And sleep. Let it grow. Story can change every day. It's okay. You are a little child, you can tell story every day differently. Is that all right? Okay, have a very good night.